Hi, I'm Megan. Welcome to today's live reading of Taming Beckett by G.K. Brady, brought to you by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Join me for Chapter 1, Critical Mistakes, January. Beckett woke with a head ringing like a metal goalpost that had just been struck by a screaming slap shot. His tongue was glued to the roof of his mouth. Where the hell was he? He lifted his head and scanned the murky shadows around him. His eyes caught on a dim, fuzzy light. Had he suffered a concussion? Had that damn coyote's defenseman gotten him with a lights out uppercut? No, this place was warm, and it smelled way better than the locker room. He lay on his back in a bed. No covers, no pillow, no clothes. Vaguely aware of another body, he fixed his eyes on that one spot of yellow suspended in gray gauze. When his vision sharpened, the hazy light revealed itself to be a table lamp with a yellow shade covered in pink polka dots. Miniature pink pom-poms fringed the bottom of the lampshade, and a small stuffed bear clung precariously to its top. A koala? His eyesight wasn't that clear yet. Gingerly, he rolled over and propped himself up on his elbows, running stiff fingers over his stubbled jaw. He glanced to his side. Long, dark hair. A large butterfly floated across her bare shoulder. A different tattoo. Was it a ladybug? Popped into his dusky brain, along with a different part of her anatomy. Must have been one hell of a night, his queasy stomach agreed. He slithered to the bottom of the mattress and sat up, his feet landing on a cold floor. He shook his head, trying to scatter the cobwebs, and regretted it instantly. Where the hell were his clothes? Standing, he staggered to a white dresser covered by a slab of glass that held a Visa card, a $100 bill, and a few broken lines of white powder. His credit card, his $100 bill, his Coke. Well, he'd paid for it. He picked up the credit card and scraped the cocaine into one thin line, rolled the bill, and snorted it clean off the glass. Pinching each nostril in turn, he sniffed hard. A zing popped his eyes open. Now I'm awake. The few grains that hadn't gone up his nose, he picked up on his finger and licked off. Not a speck left. His dim gaze was pulled into a heap. He crouched on the floor and rummaged through it. My shirt, my jeans, not my bra. He held up the bra and inspected it, searching his mind's eye for the woman it belonged to. Dropping it back on the floor, he picked out the rest of his belongings from the tangle and padded to the door that opened into a closet. The next door led to a hallway. Let's see what's behind door number 3. That door led to what he was after, a bathroom. He folded his large frame into the tiny space, rearranging himself to close the door. He flipped on the light and was momentarily blinded by the harsh fluorescence bouncing off the cold white tile. The pounding in his head ratcheted up. He shaded his eyes and sang under his breath, blinded by the light, wrecked up like a douche in the something night. He glimpsed himself in the mirror and flinched. Fuck, he looked like shit. Like the light, the reflection was harsh, though in an entirely different way. He tugged the pouches under his eyes. Blue swimming in red stared back at him. A lot of red. He blinked a few times and brushed white powder from one nostril. Surfer blonde hair, courtesy of what was her name in Chicago, who bleached it a few nights back, stuck out like tufts in a rooster's tail. Shit, if he still wasn't used to it, but it had made her oh so happy, and she had made him oh so happy. He yanked his fingers through it, but it sprang back up with mattress coil tenacity. He stuffed his face in a miniature sink, running cold water over his head and into his mouth. He brought his head up. No towels? Who the fuck has no towels in their bathroom? Even he had towels in his bathroom, all 7 of them. But not that girl out there. What the hell was her name anyway? Tracy? Stacy? Candy? Carrie? He smoothed his hair. Where had those creases on his face come from? Contorting himself, he pulled on boxers, jeans, t-shirt, and a button-down. Something stuck out of his collar, and he pulled out a black lace thong, promptly dropping it on the floor. He huffed as he looked over himself in the mirror. Nothing had improved. He fished 4 ibuprofen from his front pocket and threw them back with a cupped handful of water. One hell of a night. Back in the girly bedroom, he stashed the credit card in the 100 and glanced over his shoulder at the brunette. What the hell's her name? Man, she was out. With a satisfied smirk, he left the room in search of the rest of his stuff. He was so bad with names, and how he had hooked up with her. He was bad with those details, too. His hunt took him to a futon where he found his discarded socks and shoes. Memories came streaking back in flashes, like the crazy strobes from that dance floor where he'd shaken his tail trying to get some tail. No, wait, that was Chicago. Or was it Detroit? What city was he in now? Minneapolis? Shit. Balanced on the edge of the futon, he pulled on a sock. He'd met this girl in a bar. Where else? A table of giggly women had asked for autographs. Pretty young women doing tequila shots. He'd given them his premium smile, the one that required sunglasses. After he'd signed whatever they shoved at him, they'd asked him to sit down. Consummate gentleman that he was, he accepted. Just Beckett and 4 very pretty, friendly girls who smelled really good and seemed to multiply as more joined their table. Screw team curfew, he thought. That bullshit was for the rookies, not him. A couple of rounds later, on his dime, with extras thrown in so he could catch up, of course, he joined the ladies in toasting something. An engagement? A bachelorette party? Maybe the brunette was the bachelorette. Whatever the occasion, the girls got friendlier as the alcohol did its job, and they asked for more autographs in very interesting places. Sure, I can sign your t-shirt right over your heart, unless you want to take it off. Where's the Sharpie? Oh, you want an autograph across your belly button? The belly button ring will have to go, but I can take care of that. With my tongue? Oh yeah, I can do that. I'm sorry, where? Absolutely, I aim to please, but I'll have to squeeze under the table. Ah, that's when he'd spotted the ladybug and the black lace thong. Now his signature was next to the bug, like a brand, and the thong was lying on the bathroom floor. One hell of a night. He thought a blonde was going to join them, but she disappeared at the last minute. Disappointing, but he consoled himself with the brunette. He preferred them anyway. Beckett searched for paper and a pen to leave a note. Hey, let's do this again real soon. Or do I get a wedding invitation? And found a tablet with a name across the top. Karen Gruber. He jotted a lame message that didn't include his phone number. Those messages never did. No point in inviting someone to put the touch on him. He learned that lesson the hard way a long time ago. As he hunted for some place to put the note where she would find it, he patted his jean pockets and mentally ticked off his possessions. Money clip check, money check, 4 condoms. He'd started with 6, but he'd been ambitious. Hopeful, both check. Wallet check, phone, uh-oh. Beckett crept back into the bedroom, his eyes drawn to the white rump on the bed. He found his phone on the nightstand and swapped it for the note, glimpsing the used condoms on a tissue. At least he hadn't been so wasted he hadn't used double protection. Even he never got that wasted. He was gathering up the tissue when a shapely bare leg called to him. An image of lines of cocaine on pert breast floated through his brain. The breast had jiggled delightfully. You're tickling me. The cocaine was gone, but maybe he could make those tits wobble again. Practice wasn't for another few hours, and it had already blown curfew. It'd be a shame not to use the extra rubbers, and Coach was always on them about working out off the ice. A picture of sassy dancing breasts in his head, Beckett laid his hand on her shoulder, covering the butterfly. She was surprisingly cold. Hey, sweetheart. What the fuck was her name? Karen something? Karen, sweetheart, I had a great time celebrating with you and your friends last night, especially since it led me here. Smooth, Beck. He shook her shoulder and rolled her over. Panic shot through him like liquid nitrogen. Oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no.